Hello, my dear friends. Friends, I am Jyoti with Pavan Kumar. Friends, many years ago, while I was reading the books of the great Tibetan Lama Lobsang Rampa, I read in one of his books that the great mentor, guru of Lobsang Rampa, whose name was Lama Mingyar Dondup, he once told Lobsang Rampa, when his guru was teaching Lobsang Rampa, he told him about a very fine, high-dimensional world, spirit world, which Tibetans know as Patra, the land of golden light. See, there are many spirit worlds in a very high dimension, right, which are very fine, highly evolved worlds, and only people who came on this earth and they evolved, they did something great for humanity. They evolved from here, moved on to the astral planes and then to the spirit worlds. See, there are many dimensions even in the astral planes. Even on the astral worlds, there are many dimensions. And after liberation from the life on this earth, which we know as nirvana or mukti or liberation, then one moves on to the astral planes. And in astral planes there are many dimensions. So as that entity progresses, moves on to higher and higher astral planes, and then further on to very fine spirit worlds. And there are many spirit worlds which are heavens of heaven. And Patra has been defined as a land of golden light, heaven of heavens. Very few people who evolve through lives on this earth and they do a lot of good for humanity, they only deserve to go to the lands like Patra and Hiranyaloka. There is also, in Sanskrit, there is another high dimensional, finer spirit world known as Hiranyaloka, where the great master of Paramahansa Yogananda ji, Shri Yukteswar Giriji, is there at present on Hiranyaloka. So, and then his guru mentioned that Lobsang Rampa, after leaving your physical body on this earth, you will also move on to Patra, and I am also going to Patra. Means Mingyar Dondup told Lobsang Rampa that he after death will go to the land of Patra, and Lobsang Rampa will also follow him. Very few people who evolved through lives on earth. And his guru said that people like Leonardo da Vinci, Aristotle, Socrates, and also the great Winston Churchill, Sir Winston Churchill, is also on the heaven of heavens, Patra. When I read about Sir Winston Churchill, then I did a lot of study of the life of the great Winston Churchill, and I was really impressed by the greatness of that man. You must be aware that Sir Winston Churchill, whose full name was Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, and he was born on 30th of November 1874, and he left his physical body, that means he died on 24th of January 1965. He was also apart from being a political leader, he was also a social reformer and a writer. He was Prime Minister of United Kingdom during Second World War, and he was Prime Minister of UK from 1940 to 1945, and then again from 1951 to 1955. Now, a person, you can see the greatness of that person. See, on earth, nobody can judge any other person. And also what happens if somebody is good, really good, and is doing a lot of good for other people, many people feel jealous and they try to pull leg of that person, right? So there are so many scandals trying to pull down a person who is successful. This so happens. So it happened with Sir Winston Churchill also. He had many opponents. Now, Lobsang Rampa has written, one of the greatest men of modern times he was. This is what Lobsang Rampa has written. And he further writes, he saved the world from being under the cloud of communism. As you know, he was a great inspiration, motivation for the people during bad times when communism was trying to spread throughout Europe. And it was only the courage, the strong character of Sir Winston Churchill as Prime Minister of United Kingdom. You see in pictures his sign of victory like this. He was a great person. He did not allow communism to spread throughout Europe. Otherwise the world today would have been much worse than what it is at present. Yes. See, Lobsang Rampa further writes, yet he had his detractors, that means opponents, just because spirit of evil is very dominant in present times, even in the time of Sir Winston Churchill. The negative force is also very strong, and people who are under the influence of negative force, they try to pull down even good people. That happens even today. You can see, right? So he was truly a great man. Then Lobsang Rampa further writes, you cannot get a great man without some moronic clot trying to say unkind things about him. That happens always. So, see these rare people who are on that great heaven of heavens, Patra. People are judged by the divine powers, and they know who deserves to move on to the higher spirit worlds. People here cannot judge out of jealousy or any other political interest. They don't judge. They cannot judge people rightly. But the divine forces, they take no mistake, right? So I was greatly impressed by this person, so I thought I must share my views with you. And there are so many wonderful quotes, wonderful thoughts of this great man, Sir Winston Churchill. I want to share some of these with you. They are really great. One thought is, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. See? Don't get stopped by success or failure. Move on. It is the courage which counts. Right? Then Another thought, to improve is to change, which means if you want to improve, then you have to change. Only change can bring something new in your character. So he says, to improve is to change. So to be perfect is to change often. So if you want to be a perfect person, then you have to change many times. Only change can bring better things, replace the negative traits and inculcate good qualities in a person. Some people are afraid of changing. For some people it is difficult to change. But take courage, encouragement from this thought of this great man, that to improve is to change, and so to be perfect is to change often. Another thought, if you destroy a free market, see, this is very important, applies today. The present day leaders must pay attention to this thought of great Winston Churchill. What he says, if you destroy a free market, you create a black market. I wouldn't point out too many leaders who are moving in the wrong direction, and they need some inspiration from this thought. Another thought, the price of greatness is responsibility. It is responsibility which differentiates a person from one to another person. Responsibility. Right? Another thought, he says, you have enemies? Question mark. Good. That means you have stood up for something in your life. This is the most, valuable thought which I really like. I appreciate it, because in my life I also myself stood up against evil. So let me read it again. It's a wonderful thought. He says, you have enemies? Question mark. Good. That means you have stood up for something in your life. If you stand up principally against evil in support of good, then you are bound to have enemies. But don't be afraid of that. Ultimate victory is of good, of positive. Remember that. Another thought. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. You can make life of a person, another person, by giving. And it is not only that you make life of another person by giving something which that person needs. You are creating good for your own self, and good is bound to come back to you. See, such wonderful thoughts only a great person can give, a practical person. And Sir Winston Churchill was most practical person, pragmatic person. He was not like leaders of today, many leaders. There are very few good leaders, but many, they are not bothered about their country, about the people. They are selfish, right? Another thought. Let me give you just one last thought. There are so many thoughts. Now, if you are inspired by what I am telling you, the greatness of this person, read more about this person. You will learn a lot. You will benefit. So this last thought I am taking for this video. I never worry about action, but only about inaction. Most important. He says, what he says, the inference is that action is better than inaction. And my dear friends, this is what the great Lord Krishna teaches Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. There is one shlok, one verse in Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that you must take right action at the right moment, and only inaction is bad. See, this is what happening with many people. That is why the evil force dominates. Because people are afraid of taking action, right action, even right action. And these days, many people are afraid of raising their voice against the bad actions done by our politicians. No, you must not. Especially those who are the lawmakers, who are responsible for law and order, police and law and order. They should not be afraid of the selfish leaders. They should stand in support of truth. So, even the avatar, Lord Krishna, is supporting action, right action at the right moment instead of inaction. Right? So I will read it once more, this last one. It is really great thought. I never worry about action. And this is what this great man Winston Churchill showed through his life, through his right actions at the right time. That is why he could save the world from spread of communism. I never worry about action, but only about inaction. Inaction is bad. I hope you will be inspired by this video and you will read more about this great man. See, the same thing is happening these days. Let me mention about that. I have made a video also. Many people are trying to pull down the great Mahatma Gandhi, who was truly a great Mahatma, great man. And if anybody is trying to pull that person down by wrong blames, then that person is creating bad karma for himself or herself. If you do not know in detail, in depth about a person, you have no right to just read on surface something and what other people are saying and then start pulling down that person. Mahatma Gandhi was a real great man. See, I am not supporting all his political actions. I am not interested in politics. See, in political actions, whatever decisions leader takes, sometimes they go wrong, right? Because you cannot please everybody. But his intention was never wrong. And also, I am supporting his greatness on the basis of his great character. Like many people, he had many shortcomings, negative traits. But he worked on that. And people who do not understand, who have not studied his life, they must read his autobiography. My Experiments with Truth, that is what the title is. He was truly a great man, a truthful man. So don't try to pull leg of someone whom you do not understand, or if you are jealous of that person. You are creating bad karma for yourself by doing that. So my dear friends, thank you for watching this video.